have not only Ryan Dixon in the studio, but we also have my guest, Jack Kelly, a journalist major and communications major at Bridgewater State, whose focus is on sports, and he's a very knowledgeable young guy who really impressed the heck out of me last time he was on. So I was happy to invite him back, and we'll talk about some of these upcoming things. Jack, good morning. How are you? Whoops, let me put you up there. There you go. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show again.
Happy to do that. So, Jack, your opinion of the new look New England Patriots?
Yep. So I'm very intrigued by it. I think that week one went really well. I do like how we can kind of open up the playbook a lot more. There's a lot, even though we all love Tom Brady, there's just some plays that came with those legs can make that Tom couldn't make. And I think that even though it's a different Patriots team, I kind of like the identity we've seen through 1 week.
10 years ago, a 31-year-old quarterback was a senior citizen in the NFL, but sports medicine and training has extended the life of the athlete, and it's really benefited, the full contact sport of, the NHL and certainly the NFL. Cam Newton rushed 15 times week one. Can he do that for 16 weeks?
Yeah, he did, and I don't think that I'll be very surprised if you see him get a number over 15 carries again this year. One thing, especially in week one, where these guys haven't had preseason, haven't even had a full training camp, so you don't know how deep McDaniels is into the playbook, so I'm sure you're going to have a lot of reads and stuff early on to Cam to make it easy. So I expect you'll probably see him rush maybe 6 to 8 times, design the game, maybe a couple more times scramble, but I don't think you'll see 15 attempts. And I don't know if his body could hold that up for a whole season.
Yeah, so I imagine that this is a new environment for Cam Newton in a lot of ways, but one of them is that he won't be entrusted with any play until the brain trust. Belichick and Josh McDaniels are satisfied that he does understand the play and how it's going to work. So they're going to let him digest these things and prove that he understands these plays before they expand the book. And I know that was your point. But, as we look at this game Sunday, you have a Seattle team who it's not the Legion of Boom anymore. They still have a decent defense, and certainly Russell Wilson to me is a great player in the NFL. They've got a wide receiver who may present a tremendous matchup problem for the Patriots, but we do possess, I think, one of the top 3 secondaries, if not the best secondary in the league. Demonstrated last week. They played very well, and an offensive line that can control the clock. How do you see that game playing out?
So I see that being an interesting game. I think some people are kind of not even giving the Patriots really a chance, and I think that I am picking Seattle to win. I hope I'm wrong about it. I have Seattle winning. I just think that with the acquisition of Jamal Adams and seeing how he fit into their defense last week, he's a chess piece you can move all around the board. And I just think that the Patriots, Seattle's been together. Russell Wilson and their offense has been doing things for years, and just the Patriots, they just haven't been together long enough. And I just think that, I think they could definitely stay in the game with how they run the ball, control the clock, and ride on the defense. But I just think Seattle, is just a little more ahead of schedule right now.
N'Keal Harry was having himself a pretty good second half until he fumbled the ball. Then you didn't see much from him after that. It's the second time he's had a pretty big fumble.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see with him because, we all know he was a first-round pick, and we've seen flashes of how talented he can be. I wonder if there's maybe a mental thing with him sometimes, whether it's checking out or whether it's when he's not catching the ball or when he's not getting targets, and then you see, obviously, with the fumble even sometimes. So I wonder with him is you might need to see him get into a little rhythm, which we saw last game, and hopefully avoid those costly mistakes.
We saw that Belichick has no tolerance for turnovers. Even a high draft choice like Stephen Ridley was marginalized real quickly when he just couldn't hold on to the ball. So hopefully N'Keal Harry's able to resolve that, because after him and Edelman, the talent pool drops quite a bit in the receiving corps.
Yeah, definitely. And he's still the one guy, too, where he's going to be an extension to the run game with RPOs, with his big body. Like you saw last week, you can get him out working on some bubble screens because he can break a couple tackles, too. So not only deep down the field, but he's someone in the intermediate routes, too, that you could use a lot with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Hey, Jack, the Celtics are in a terrible position, something I think a lot of people didn't expect.
Yeah, no, Miami's looking really, really good. I know, and it's only 2-0, and as we've seen with the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, that nothing is over until it's over, but it's not. And, they have not looked great so far. as good as, I mean, I like Kemba Walker. He hasn't shot the ball great. He can shoot definitely a little better. And then I just hope that, Goran Dragic has looked really good for Miami. And he's had 27 a game this series so far. So I just think that they need to kind of look to come together defensively and just hold on in the fourth quarter, because that's something that they seem to struggle with really bad.
Boston Celtics, and I don't really put a lot of stock into these kind of stats, but their history, coming into a series 0-2, I think they're 2-13 overtime. I don't believe that comes into play. But it is a terrible record.
Yeah, it is a terrible record, and I expect any one down 2-0 to have a not so great record. But like you said, I mean, it's been different teams with different guys, different coaches, different years. So those I don't put as much value into that either. So I agree with you on that.
Plus the arenas are basically empty, so it's not, there really is no home court advantage.
Yeah, no. So it's still, I mean, that's why I think that especially with the shooters, and you're down 2-0, but it's still being the home team. Like you said, you're not going to Miami now, so you can kind of get on a run like their shooters have, and hopefully our shooters can make a bunch of shots.
All right. Jack, I love your take on boxing, and in particular, your blog. Oh, what is your blog site again?
Yeah, so it is on a WordPress. Through Facebook, I had met a guy with a journalism degree, and it's through WordPress. It's called You Know the Vibes. It's a WordPress group that I was invited to, so it's on WordPress.com. You Know the Vibes, and then from there you can see my articles along with some articles from the other writers in my group. So I have a boxing one and 2 basketball ones up there now, and I'm looking to hopefully get one up this upcoming week also. Yeah,
you and I share a love for boxing, and you focus on a guy I think is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Lomachenko, who has a pretty good challenge coming up. And when is that, late October?
Yep, so the date for that is October 17th now. They weren't sure what date were they going to do with fans, no fans, but the official date is October 17th now.
He is, I think, it's too bad they didn't match up in terms of where they were in their careers, but he and Mayweather would have been a brilliant fight had they been, at the same age.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they both had their fathers, and Floyd's had his whole family, but around boxing, they both kind of mastered the sweet science, so it would definitely be awesome to see.
For people who don't know Lomachenko, the Ukrainian who now resides in America, it's fun to watch his English just get better and better. I doubt my Ukrainian or Russian would have improved in that small time. So he's a smart guy, but he certainly has something Mayweather doesn't have, and that is a ton of power.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to go for the knockout shot. Mayweather was an accumulative, points guy, almost like a European boxer with just superior movement. But this guy Lomachenko has everything.
Yes, and Floyd did have some knockout power when he was at 125 pounds, and obviously once he had gone up and his hands had gotten brittle, like you said, he had definitely became more of a defensive boxer. But Lomachenko definitely does have more of that top power with the left hook or whatever, definitely to end the fight right away, as you didn't see with Floyd, especially with the one-punch power.
Give me a little bit more about his opponent.
So Teofimo Lopez is undefeated. He's a champion. He's the IBF champion of the world, and he's someone who's looking at, if he were to win this fight, win or lose, is someone who's looking to approach potentially a pound-for-pound top 10 list. He's only 22 years old. He's very young, but he's one of those guys that's scary because he's not afraid to take a big fight right now in his career, and he's looking to shake up the world. So I think that, I applaud him for that, because not a lot of 22-year-old champions, especially this day in boxing, are looking to get potentially a loss on their record this early, but he thinks he's ready for it. So
you did. You pointed that out, that he's really taking a chance, taking on such an incredible challenge in Lomachenko so early in his career, because there's time for him to develop, but he's going right for it early on. He's not afraid. He's going marching, and really the handlers, it's funny because the handlers are the ones who are really cautious about who their guy is going to fight. They never want to take on too much, and they want to be in a better position to have the advantage. This is very unusual seeing here, because you have a guy who looks like he's safely going to be in the mix of things over the course of the next 6-7 years, and this could be a tremendous setback for him anyway.
Yeah, definitely, and I agree, and especially because both guys actually have had their fathers as their trainers and their guys for a long time, so especially seeing that too. I mean, Teofimo Sr. has confidence in him, as he should, obviously, but it's definitely, like you said, they're definitely taking a chance because a loss from here would be interesting to see how they would rebound with such a bright future ahead of them.
So NCAA football, it looks like the president may have had a hand in influencing a change of heart. The Big Ten is actually going to resume football play this year.
Yes, so they are. So the Big Ten will kick off their season on October 24th, they said. So,
well, how many games will that be, though?
So they will play 8. They're going to have an 8-game season. They're going to play 8 conference games in 8 weeks, and then they're actually going to also be able to. They're going to be able to complete their season before the December 20th selection day for the college football playoffs. So the Big Ten teams, Ohio State or whoever wins the conference, will be eligible for the college football playoff, which is huge.
Put them at a tremendous disadvantage with an 8-game schedule in order to be considered for national championship contention, unless somebody really just impresses the heck out of everybody all 8 weeks. But what about the Pac-10?
Yeah, so the Pac-12, so they're having
Pac-12, yeah.
had a meeting yesterday, so they have a plan. They're planning on starting November 7th. They're still up in the air on trying to figure out trying to announce a plan to reconvene. They're thinking about they had a meeting yesterday, and they're going to have another meeting coming up, I believe, Monday. So they're still up in the air. They're definitely they're almost positive that they're returning. They're just kind of working out whether it's dates or protocols and how they're going to figure everything out. But they should be returning as well, sooner than later.
Well, the fires should be out then. The air should be cleared up by then, hopefully. But 2020 is just a terrible year for not just sports, everything involved. But man, does it have the COVID-19 has impacted literally everything in the world.
Yep, it has, and it's just been. I hope everyone's staying safe during this time and just kind of staying to themselves and taking care of everything.
So the situation you're at Bridgewater State, I understand that dormitory rooms designed for 4 are now down to 2. That's got to be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is definitely cool. We have some extra room in here. So I won't complain about that. But it is definitely interesting to see how just even the different things they have, and even just how many less people are here compared to other years.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So is the attendance at Bridgewater State?
1420 WBSM.
Hold on during the commercial break. We'll be right back.
New feature on the WBSM app. The technology of the future. If you want to get in the air, but you don't have time to wait on hold.
Oh, what happened to your car?
I always wanted a convertible, so I busted out the old chainsaw, and pow, convertible!
What's your plan for that? All right, how about you drive over to Coastal New England Federal Credit Union? They have auto loan rates starting at 3.04% APR with automatic payments.
Great idea. I'll head right over.
Maybe start at cnefcu.org instead.
Coastal New England Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA, member MSIC, equal housing lender.
All right, we're back. Jack Kelly is with us. Jack is a sports writer in college right now, and I think he's got a bright career in the future in this area. Ryan, what do you think of Jack right now? He's pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, I had a question for Jack, Ken.
All right. Jack, do you have an answer for him?
What does he think about if what's Gordon Hayward's availability today? Because they were saying he might play today.
Yeah, so Gordon Hayward, that'll be very interesting because if he were to come back, that would be a very big pickup for the Celtics. So,
and if you know Hayward, if he can make it, he's going to make it.
Yeah, definitely. So he's questionable right now. I mean, I'm hoping that he's definitely down 2-0, like you said, that he's going to be trying as much as he can to get healthy for the game. He's just one more scorer, and hopefully that could be the one person to kind of tip the balance in the Celtics' favor.
Well, I think psychologically it would be a lift for the team to have him out there too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
All right, so Jack, one more time. So if people wanted to read your material, you go to WordPress.
Yep. And then it's titled You Know the Vibes is just the group name that I am under. And then from there you could go to, and then there's 3 different sections, and then under the sports section you'll see my articles, and then you'll see whichever the top one is there, you can then click on my name and all my articles will come up, and all the other articles that people have written on the site will come up too.
Well, and I think people would really appreciate your love for the MIAA and local high school football that is going to be played at a very unusual time this year, but you're going to be covering a lot of that, and I think that's going to be of great interest. There's some, on the South Coast here, some teams that should be excited about where they are in their division. So I can't wait for it. I love high school football. It's part of the right of an American to help you ease the pain of the loss of summer to go into the football season. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen this year, but it will be played.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel for every, being a high school football player before, obviously, I feel for everyone that, they have their season. Then obviously they're not going to have the typical season, but I'm definitely excited, to cover everything in the spring. Because like you said, college football is just, a great thing. There's really nothing like it, and I just can't wait to cover it.
Well, I look forward to your next piece here, and I appreciate your time with us, Jack. Thanks for coming on. Maybe next week we'll see how the Celtics, hopefully they're still alive, and we'll talk about the upcoming game. Any prediction on the score, Patriots?
Patriots, so I will say Seattle wins 27-20, but I'm hoping for a pass win as always.
Yeah, I have a similar game. Last week I said they'd win 24-13. I think it was pretty close to that, but I got a 26-23 Seattle win here.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be, close down to the end, and I'm hoping we can make the play, but I just think we're a couple plays away from being with a Seattle team like that right now.
Ryan, go ahead. What's your pick? Jack, keep an eye on this because this guy's accurate.
I'm a New England fan, Ken.
I know that.
But going to Seattle with that air quality right now, the whole wildfires that are going on in Seattle, I'm gonna give that to Seattle. I think.
You think that's going to be a factor for the Seattle? Is going to favor the Seattle? Dirty tactics.
The air though, Ken.
Dirty air tactics.
It's gonna affect everybody there.
Sure. So you like Seattle? What's the score?
26-23.
That's what I said.
I know. I'm going the same way as you.
All right, Jack. Thanks for your time. Take care. Well, maybe I'm on.